So once again, Piotr is leading 5-1 from Paul Gallen. He's halfway there to being the best 2017 champion.
Yeah, so in most of Paul's losses, that wasn't a great deal he could have done. And the important thing in situations like that is to sort of just keep your inner balance and not get tilted. Because it is like, I mean, it could go up to 19 games and there's a lot of space for variance. So for all you know, Paul's going to get really lucky in the next like 3 games or something.
Yeah.
He's got to be in a position to like exploit it if he does get lucky, not just start missing things.
Yeah. Like I said though, when you were away doing something, Paul had to put together a win streak here. And it's got to be like a 3-4 game win streak. No, Piotr has basically won like 10 of the last 11 games in best, because he won the last like 4 or 5 versus David Webb as well. So, he's on a roll, as we say. Or as my parents say, he's on a chocolate roll. Or maybe a Swiss roll. But anyway, he's on a big win streak, and it's up to Paul Gallen to stop this.
Oh well.
This trend.
Paul has started with a blank. Always good.
The trend shall be halted. I mean, is he going to burn the blank here for some like 12-point play?
He's going to play Vue with the blank as a Y.
Oh yes, he will.
More defensive than Vue's.
There is a bonus.
Yeah.
And where's that blank going? Yeah, he's seen it.
He's seen it.
Is there an echo in here, or is it just you repeating what I said? Don't worry, I'm just trying to be funny. And it's not working. So where would you play Vineyard? Would you put the V on the center square, or would you put the W on the center square?
I think V on the center square. Yeah, as he's doing.
So the more defensive option.
Yeah, the main thing with putting W on the center square is that it has both E's above both E's next to the double letters, so you could give quite a lot of work. This sort of splits up the hotspots that are being opened, so both players will get a shot at one each or something like that, and that's normally better for you.
So now Piotr's only got 1 vowel. He's down 84 points, and there's not too much appealing about.
Well, he can play Wiz, which is what he's looking at, which is 33 points, and sort of sorts out the preponderance of consonants.
Yeah, it does keep the vowel as well, it's always good to keep a vowel. Especially in this kind of situation.
Wiz will block the Paul's filament, which he has just drawn.
Yeah, the other eight that Paul has is Matt Felon, or as I like to say, Fat Melon, but it's actually Matt Felon. I just remember it as Fat Melon. But anyway.
So Wiz is not the only reasonable option. Like you could play with through the D, or like whited through the E. But Wiz is probably the best, I think, after thinking about it.
Yeah, I think the best scoring may be Zibeth, but where that's positioned, just no. Any S, just. Maybe he's lining up Zibet and keeping the H for like a super awesome hook.
Well, that keeps DWH, which isn't a great leaf, and The H hook isn't even that valuable. Also, this doesn't block filament, but like I mean, he doesn't know that. He's about to find out.
Oh, look, Zibeth scores 40 points, but I still don't think it's worth it to open up like an S like that. And now, like all that H hook that he set up, like the H hook is just ruined.
I think Zibeth was worth considering, but not Zibeth. So it was between Zibeth and probably Wiz, and both had like things in favor of them. See, if he played Zibeth, he did pick up an S, which, given that he was already down, like a certain amount of volatility is not necessarily a bad idea, and it does score 40 points.
Yeah, if we were playing If Only though, Piotr would now play the word duckish, and he'd score like so many points. And yes, duckish is a word.
The thing about Zibeth versus like Wiz is that Zibeth leaves DW, which is not great, but
slightly better than
BDIT, which I actually think BDIT is a bit better because you will be leaving both E's open after Wiz.
Yeah, and leaving the floating E's is always key when you don't have one as well.
And he is behind and stuff like that. Well, he can score highly.
Yeah, he takes the best score here with Whisk, and you know, none of us are going to argue with that. It's 59 points. Speedy Player also likes Husk. That gets rid of the U but keeps the W and an I. I think they're about even though.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to say between both of them.
And Paul has one of those you know, words you can spell backwards and forwards. He has Alula. But all those 1 point tiles are just not very nice to draw. But considering he's 60 points ahead, he's probably relieved to have a lead. You know, who knows how long that will last. But I might be tempted to play a Lule here. Alulae next to Whisk. That clears out a lot of the junk.
Yeah, that seems like a very reasonable option. And it actually scores pretty well.
And the U next to the double letter square isn't such of a risk because, you know, it's really an H or an M or a P that really go there, and you know, an H isn't good there really because, you know, you have to put a vowel before it. And you'd probably have to be quite unlucky if your opponent had some of those higher scoring consonants and some of the right letters.
I'm just trying to figure out if he has anything through the end of Vinute that might score well.
I at this point when I'm trying to like fit letters around like this kind of closed situation when I'm trying to fit something in, I always just like, okay, which letter goes here? So between the F and the B, you could put the U, the A, and the O. Between the L and the T, you can put an A, an O, and an E. And because you've only got L's as your consonants, it's really hard to kind of do something other than lane, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's not very good. Maybe like anole, anole. They're not really very good options.
Yeah, I think he's considering Aula and ZA. Oh no, Aula and below Philip.
Oh, that's really defensive as well, and I can understand why he's done that. Paul has lost quite a lot of leads, I think, so far in this best match, and he's probably considering that now and wants to really destroy all opportunities of Piotr from staging an early comeback. And
I mean, it does make sense, but it's a big sacrifice from Alule.
Yeah, it's almost one of those plays that is a lot more defensive than he may ordinarily go for. I think maybe he's starting to get influenced by the scoreline slightly. he needs to make sure that he wins a game soon, and being defensive may be the way that he gets there. But I know Piotr is more defensively inclined as well, so he's able to play on more defensive boards. Oh, I think he's lining up the double-double here. Piotr might be lining up the double-double. Maybe. Vidimus.
Oh, I didn't know that works.
Me neither. Vidimus. So that's 48 points. Yeah, look at that. Show off.
Yeah.
52.
Oh, 52, it's more points. Oh yeah, I missed 4.
This scores well, and it's like opening the board up again, which is what he wants. Definitely the best player, a good spot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Paul just has XI to come right back. And
Paul's rack's
balance it
gone.
out.
Paul's oh, there we go. Back. Magic. Yeah, that's quite unfortunate though. Vidimus was a great play and a great word to know, and for your opponent to have the extra Q and be able to play it is very unlucky. And now the board is starting to look a bit staircasey.
Oh yes, definitely the XI and the 2 Vs are sort of holding back the progression towards any
and the
progression.
Z as well. The Z is quite, it really stops something being played above it. And one of my friends, who I know on ISC, she asked me like, "Oh, I'm getting really annoyed with the amount of staircases that I play, and and I don't like playing staircases, but I don't know how to get out of them." And like the best way that I could describe to her to get out of a staircase is to play something in the opposite direction from where the staircase is kind of leading you. So like the only real option is to play through the Z, but you play a vertical word through the Z, and that just kind of destroys the staircase at that point. You'll end up sacrificing loads of points, but if you play vertically through the Z, the staircase will stop happening. And now that's not possible. The staircase seems to continue to keep happening.
I'm not really sure about this move.
Yeah.
So Paul wants the board to remain like this, with like the V's, the X, the F, and the Z sort of holding back the progress. And then sort of then he will want to just occupy the what space there is.
Yeah, this is what I described in the semi-final as well, between Piotr and Dweeb. You don't really want to help your opponent with your own objective, or their own objective. I mean, if your opponent is looking to block the board, don't help them. The more you help them, the easier it is for them, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, thanks, you just blocked off that floater that I was going to block off anyway." It just becomes easier for them to stop you doing things. Because now that they've gotten rid of something that you were going to get rid of, you just get rid of something else, and then you end up with a staircase, and you end up really annoyed. And then you swear because you're like, well, how did this happen? But this also goes into what we were saying about the openness and closeness of a board. Sometimes it just happens that a board gets this way. And I think this is one of those games where the board has just gone this way through some of the better moves. And the move like Bon, that wasn't a deliberate block, that was more of a score, but it was still a defensive play, and I'm not looking forward to the way the staircase is turning out. And I don't think Paul is either. I mean, he's probably going to consider killing off the last two floaters of Vineyard, the E and the D. Just play FOH. You know, just kill them off. Play it on the right-hand side. And then just...
The thing about BON, that Piotr just played, is that it offered a very attractive score given what he had. But he probably should have played something hooking ZO at least. Or even playing Boost through ZO, through the Z to just open the board up, because...
Yeah, like I said, play something vertical to kill off the staircase.
I mean, after you make a play like BON, most players will be thinking, oh, I should just obstruct I'll just obstruct the E and D of Venue, and there aren't really any more options left on the board to do anything.
Yeah. And, you know, even if Paul draws a bonus, he won't be upset. He'll just be like, yeah, who cares? You know, board's tight, I've got a lead. I don't care that I have bonuses.
So Paul took a fairly big point sacrifice to obstruct those floaters. He could have played under the Z instead, but I think it's justifiable.
Yeah, I think it's more justifiable to block off the floaters at this point. You know, Piotr scoring 30 points is not that bad. Maybe he should, like, at least he kept the L, because like only an A or an O go after the Z. So he's got Zol, he's got Zars. You know, maybe he should have kept the G and the L as well, and then he'd be covered both ways. But oh, look at that! We've got a nice whole word that goes underneath.
Yeah. So the thing about this is that it's now too late when you make a play like Udon, and Paul just plays whole underneath, and Paul has scored like 40 points, and the board is not any more open than it was before.
Yeah, and sometimes the thing is about taking a play like Udon underneath a Z. Your opponent can get even more back if they're holding the right letter to hook on the end of the two-letter Z word. And luckily for Paul, he has both the S and the L here, and he's definitely just gonna throw it down. It's the points, even though he played Fag, deliberately keeping HO back to use there potentially for next turn. You know, he's gotten even more points now.
Yeah,
and
arguably at this stage, Union was probably a better shot than Udon.
Yeah, Union would be better even with the front hook.
No, I mean the front hook is part of the idea. There is a blank left, and you could like make it a B, but Union also doesn't give as much back in terms of overlaps.
Yeah, and you don't like, because Udon leaves the vowel next to the double word square, and it goes consonant vowel, it was really easy to maximize. You know, when you don't typically have the consonant vowel pattern, it can become a lot harder to fit words in. You know, even consonant vowel consonant is also really easy, but if you have to do like vowel consonant vowel, that becomes a lot harder to try and achieve. Of course, there are words like that, but you're talking about the difficulty of making certain words fit a specific pattern.
Yeah, and so now I guess he's sacrificing some points to sort of open the board up, but now is precisely the time he doesn't really want to be sacrificing points because
he's so far behind anyway. But in all honesty, he didn't have that many points to sacrifice anyway. You know, the moves
I
there.
guess that is true.
You know, he might as well open up. But the only problem is Paul has a bonus. And this is exactly how you treat a closed board. You know, as the player in front, you force your opponent to make the opening. And then once they've made the opening, you just play your bonus that you've been undeliberately fishing for the whole time. I was thinking, is a mister someone that mists?
Yes.
No, it's not. It's just a man. A mister.
I mean, there are misting devices.
Yeah. And whether they are or are not misters, I mean, who knows? But So sadly for Piotr, he can't make the most of that M. Oh, the
I
disappointment.
don't think he can make anything of it at all.
Yeah, there's only 1 7 on this rack, and it doesn't play. I think. I can't see it play.
He has some options.
Yeah, he
but
has
can't
he
do
has
the
some
M.
playable 8 through the S of Misters and the T of Misters. And of course his best bet may in fact just be to leave the triple open as well, like just in case he draws something great.
I
But
mean, his highest scoring option should be Paintier through T.
Yeah.
And that has the, I mean, it opens into the 9 timer in theory, but they can both be closed with a single move, so it's not that great. But it does make the board very volatile.
yeah, considering we were talking about a staircase a few minutes ago, now we're no longer talking about a staircase.
So he's pretty much forced to just play it. It's his highest scoring option, and it makes the board the most volatile, so he should just play it like fairly quickly.
Assuming he's seen it.
I mean, it's Paintier, so I'm sure he'll see it.
I don't know, there's been worse missed. But, yeah, we're just going to wait on Piotr to play one of his, what did I say, 2 or 3 playable bonuses? Oh my god, I love some of these extensions to Whisk. Just to see what you can actually take it to the triple with. So, Paul Gallen is actually really close to Whiskeria. That would be fun. I guess a Whiskeria is someone is more whiskery, or maybe it's someone that works in a whiskery. I don't know. I like this one, Whiskerando. That sounds so fancy.
I think Whiskeria is the comparative form of Whiskery.
Yeah, it definitely is. A whiskery is not like a whisk factory or something. It really is just... It's probably just the adjective to do with whiskers. Piotr seems to be struggling. I'm not sure what he's seen or not seen, but...
I think he's taking the time to make sure there isn't a 9 timer, because...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we know, so because we could just check it on anagrammers, but you know, he's definitely considering. I think it's just there are too many eyes here to make that a realistic possibility.
I mean, I'm trying to like look at stuff before and not just like look up the answer straight away. But
I want to look up the answer straight away because I'm terrible at words. But yeah, Piotr does.
In a game, especially in this position, I would definitely spend a lot of time here because you this is like a comeback opportunity, and you have a blank. There might be something. You're sort of obligated to do it. But anyway, he's played Paintier.
Yeah, I mean, even if Piotr saw a potential sensible 9 timer, do you think he would have done it?
I mean, if he thought they had a chance of being good, probably. But what could you possibly come up with here? Like,
you can't make up anything remotely good with this.
We probably shouldn't. We probably shouldn't try. That wouldn't be very good. I might remember something.
Yeah. By the way, I've looked up what a whiskerando is. It's a slang word meaning someone with abundant facial hair. A heavily whiskered man.
Well,
maybe like we should go out to Nigel and say, "Hey Nigel, you're a whiskerando." And
Paul is playing Crapped, and then he's keeping ERR, so he picks an E and an I, he'll have Whiskeria. It's all part of the plan.
Yeah, I mean, he should
good move to
definitely
take
go
out
for
both.
Whiskeria.
Crapped is also a good move to take out both 9 timers.
Mhm.
Generally, just like try to control the board a bit.
Yep. Oh, there's no eyes left.
I'm
Oh,
sad.
no, I'm sad. There's no Whiskeria.
His career is not in the bag.
No. Piotr, why did you have to play all those eyes? I was so excited we might have seen a great move. And in the end, we have nothing. Oh, that's nice, Paul. That's so pleasant. He did it all at once, and it's like, oh, the disappointment. So immediately, Piotr will be looking to maximize his J, get some points. He's lining up Joy. I'm trying to work out where that goes.
He might have lined it up without working out where it goes.
Yeah, that's true. He
Or
might
he
be
can-
toying with me.
He can play Joey through the E of Orexin, which gets rid of those tiles and leaves the best possible like 4-letter thief from his rack.
He could always play Joyd through the E of Orexin as well. Joyd maximizes the J as well, but it does kill off the floaters or some of them that he really needs. And he should probably not be doing that. But it's hard to see much else to do with the J, really.
Yeah, he is going for Joey.
Yeah, you couldn't really play off the R of Paintier either. So I see Joyd as being
33.
pretty good anyway.
The problem
It's
with Joy
kind of-
is that it obstructs all of the floaters in Paintier.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess there is still sort of the right side of the board and the M and I of Misters.
And I
Yes.
guess speedy player liked Joey more because it kept the A of Paintier free.
Joey actually allows the eye, bingo through the eye as well, as long as the eye is in exactly 4th position. So I was thinking about that. But there is not much between them.
I guess because the bag was also pretty vowel heavy at the time, keeping a consonant would have been a bit more advisable as well.
Yeah. We look at his rack currently.
So in the end, we have concluded that Joey is in fact slightly better. But now Paul is looking at. I think he's looking up Ramper through the M of Misters. Hopefully he's not looking at Ramper. That would be worrying. But yeah, there's no reason to force yourself to play the Q here. There are A's and T's and U's in the bag. Even with no eyes, there's one eye of Paintier that you can still play around.
You definitely want to play this to take out the M and the I, which are the most realistic and dangerous bingo lanes right now.
They're pretty much the only bingo lanes as well.
Well, there is hooking parallel to Whisk, like if a bingo ended AE or something.
That's
But
so
that is-
unlikely though. Like
That
there's
is
no
not very likely.
because it's so unlikely. You don't want to block it just because it's a lane. You want to block it when there's something that's actually worth blocking there.
Yeah, I agree. So you block the M and the I first. So basically, from this point, I don't see how Piotr can win.
Yeah, if we do championship play, I'm sure it'll come up with something close to 0 or exactly 0.
Probably not exactly 0 yet, but
Yeah, there's always a possibility, according to Quackle, of your opponent doing something really stupid or something. But I'm sure Piotr's maybe last chance of winning this game is to catch Paul with the Q. I'm sure it won't happen though. I think this may be the turn where Paul plays the Q.
yeah, YO is not really achieving anything, I guess. Is there even anything he can draw that would play?
Mm-hmm. But the reason I say Paul should play the Q here is because he now can't exchange the Q. There are only 6 tiles in the bag. There's nowhere for QAT to go.
Yeah,
And
I actually think Piotr should have given some consideration to blocking the Eye of Paintia, where the Q could be played.
Yeah, I mean Piotr's going to lose this game anyway. He might, if he gets stuck with the Q, he gets stuck with the Q. He may as well just go for it, in the sense that that's really, if Paul doesn't have any U's or A's, that's the only place he can play.
I mean, I am saying that with the benefit of hindsight, because there are actually, from Piotr's perspective, there are a number of U's unseen. So
yeah, and in all probability, Paul has one of those U's as well.
But it might still be worth a shot in any case.
It's always worth a shot, I think. Like, I regret this one time where I should have fished for the last tile in the bag because the blank was still unseen, and I saw like a really cute parallel of Viatot, and it would have won me the game, but it was only like a 1 in 8 chance, and I was like, I don't want to go for it. And I should have gone for it because the blank was the last tile in the bag.
Well, a 1 in 8 chance actually a lot compared to the kind of chance we're talking about now.
Yeah, and it makes you think like you should actually try and take a chance no matter how small, because sometimes it's so rare that spread actually matters in the end. It might determine like 1 or 2 places, and when you're talking about a player like me that doesn't feature in the top of the table very often, if at all, spread shouldn't really matter to me. It should, because the ratings aren't determined by spread if I care about the ratings. So all I should care about is trying to win the game and maximize my opportunity of doing so. And Piotr's best chance may have been to block that Q. But now that he hasn't, I think all chance has gone. Maybe if there were some I's left, he could dump off an E, hope for Teania. But there is no hope.
I mean, even if he did that and there were I's left and he got it down because Paul didn't block for some strange reason, he still wouldn't win the game. So it's pretty far gone at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, like most of the games in this series have sort of been one-sided, which doesn't make for as interesting viewing.
Yeah, I think all of the ones I've done have been fairly one-sided as well. I think only the first game may have been slightly closer. But maybe Craig can enlighten us to what the smallest winning or losing spread was. He's doing something. He's making an opening that he's hoping.
I mean, this kind of play is just so ill-advised. Like, look at what's left. Even if there are so many, like there are a fair number of the hooks left. Even if there aren't any of the hooks left, that's still going to be blocked. It doesn't do anything.
You just either play using the hook or you play vertically alongside it.
So, I mean, it's always worth it because there is like the smallest chance that your opponent is going to actually play a phony using that. But considering, most of the opportunities where you do this, they're never going to play a phony. We should stop trying. Stop wasting turns giving it a go. Yeah, Paul blocks it for lots of points.
33.
I didn't know Logat, but
Is it log it?
there we go. It's a valid word.
Yeah. That's fine. 38 for 82. Or 9. 38. Yeah. So it's 292, did you have? No.
Not sure whether Craig's actually looking up the words
71,
using
224.
Scissor,
247.
whether he's just using Cockle, but I know his Cockle doesn't allow Anno Beard with an S on it.
361.
So
His crackle doesn't allow what?
his Cockle for some reason doesn't allow Anno Beard with an S on the end.
Oh, why not?
I don't know. When we were doing the nationals last month, Anno Beard was played and then an S was stuck on the end, and his Cockle wouldn't allow it. Said it was a phony. It's like, that's not right. I know it's a valid word.
Well, in any case, Logat is a valid word, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I'm sure like one of us can correct Craig if something extremely strange happens.
Yeah, it would be so strange if like this one word that comes up in his Cockle isn't allowed. Like that would be really worrying, and we'd be screaming at that point. Well, I would be screaming. I don't know about you screaming. But we've still got the rest of this game to play. Somehow. And Piotr needs to play some tiles for some amount of points.
Well, something like Janti, and then you play off ANR somewhere. Something like that.
Just anything really. Anything that scores some points. Just play some tiles. Yeah, it seems best by a point in this endgame. So, not going to argue with that. And Paul is going to put down 3 of his letters over there to make the word.
Oh, I thought you had 2 euros. No. Oh, right. Yeah. What the hell? Okay.
Oh. Piotr thought Paul went out. No, Paul has another U. Now you can make your move. Yeah, he'll just put them on the table. I mean, Paul's already seen them. Doesn't matter. I see 9 points. I see 10. 10 might be the best. And Piotr's obviously looking for his best play. He sees the play that I saw, which is he sees Arena. I saw Anir. They're both the same, and they are the best. And
Yeah.
with that,
That was an interesting game.
95-point win. Paul is
Did I miss a triple?
edging closer to Piotr's
Was there anything at the end? No.
to Piotr's lead.
If I had
He's now 3 behind.
instead of an eye, another